Show ya. Show me the car where you turn me on. The way you tell me you want me down. Done it, I done this before you fall. I won't catch you, don't know I'm stalling. Cause you love to have them all crying. Calling me sweet, telling me you need me. But I'm from a city that's high school. I give them this and the more I go. Cause you a bad money, she don't love money. She break grass real fast like money. Wanna swim down to the deep end. Wanna know all my secrets, honestly. Can you keep it real? Cause honestly, I can tell that you're real fond of me. Baby, don't be shy, I can see it in your eyes. I've been running around. Too bad, I've been sticking on your mind. I know you like it how I rock it from behind. I know you stand it how you taking all my time. Left, right, can you take it all night? Too bad, I've been sticking on your mind. I know you like it how I rock it from behind. I know you stand it how you taking all my time. Left, right, can you take it all night? Take it, baby, I ain't scared to take it. Oh, and maybe when I take it, oh, I feel it coming down too strong. Cause I want ya, and it's hard to resist cause I need ya. And it's hard, baby, yeah, cause I believe ya. Hold me tight, holding on tonight. Holding a cuppa, get to you clean and proper. Yeah, I'm moving a weekend lover. You gon' have me on your mind forever. Ever, thanks, baby. Turn it down like a sweet and ready. Go slow, keep it nice and steady. Know that you've been keeping patience. Too bad, I've been sticking on your mind. I know you like it how I rock it from behind. I know you stand it how you taking all my time. Left, right, can you take it all night? Too bad, I've been sticking on your mind. I know you like it how I rock it from behind. I know you stand it how you taking all my time. Left, right, can you take it all night? Show ya. Show me the car where you turn me on. The way you tell me you want me down.
Show me how you jigger.
Pick it up, why you tryna find the pieces when you lick it up? Why I like it when you sense it when you take it off? Yeah, you know that I'm bad. Too bad, I've been sticking on your mind. I know you like it how I rock it from behind. I know you stand it how you taking all my time. Left, right, can you take it all night? Too bad, I've been sticking on your mind. I know you like it how I rock it from behind. I know you stand it how you taking all my time. Left, right, can you take it all night?
Appreciate your sound. 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 Appreciate your sound, need a renovation. Appreciate your sound, need a renovation. chasing the thrills. I'm having fun. Nobody done it like me. We shake the sound. 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 We shake the sound, need a renovation.
There's no shortcut, no cheat code. All you got is you and the grind. And the whole army of randoms trying to stop you. Trying to be better than you. Trying to piss in your prize pool. And they can try all day, you go all night. Make every click count. Delete them all. Cause when you dedicate your life to this, it's more than winning. It's everything. Prime for glory.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back into Prime League. We are in week 2 for the Norwegian League, and things are looking spicy. Hope you guys are doing well today. And of course, I am joined by, the name is incorrect, but today I'm joined by Tudor.
Yeah, it is great to be back with Playday number 2 of the Norwegian League, and as you said, things are starting to actually finally pick up. A lot of the teams are starting to actually put up some numbers and some more results, and obviously we are going to get to know them a little bit better as time starts to go on by. So, what do we currently have on the docket for you guys tonight? If I'm not mistaken, we do have 2 matches that are currently ready and waiting for us to actually just go ahead and digest. The first one of which being Wizard Esports going up against Viking Esports, who we saw last week, and then in about an hour or so time we've got Team Midgard going up against Ventum. So those are the 2 best of 1 series that we have online this evening, and I gotta say I'm really excited to see exactly how Viking Esports is going to perform, if they're going to be able to put up the numbers in a fashion that they weren't able to do last week. I really want to see them improve. That's what I want the most out of this Playday.
Yeah, certainly. There should be some interesting stuff to come on out of it. We have seen them in the past playing through. If I'm not mistaken, we saw Major in the previous week.
Yeah.
And then we also saw Vikings. They'll be making a return today, but they won't be facing off against each other this time. We'll be seeing them face off against 2 different opponents. Major will be facing off against MXD, and Wizards Esports will be facing off against Vikings. So it should be a rather interesting one, and it should be rather nice to get things going. But of course, only time can tell what sort of stuff we will be seeing out of them.
Yeah, that is entirely true, but we can already go ahead and speculate just a little bit about what we could potentially see out of our first matchup on the side of Vikings. Naturally, we don't exactly know what their opponents in the form of Wizard Esports really have to offer. All we've really seen is just the results that we've seen on the website of leagues.gg. Make sure to go ahead and visit that for yourself if you want to stay up to date on everything surrounding the Prime League itself. But obviously, on the side of Vikings Esports, we did see exactly what kind of potential they can reach when they're going up against some of the best that the Prime League itself within Norway has to offer.
Yeah.
We saw players such as Mako, for example, as well as Savvy, who are the main support and riflers, respectively, on the side of Viking Esports, completely tear it, but obviously there were a couple of hit or miss moments with the Vikings. There were things that genuinely surprised and impressed me on that side, and I really want to see them sort of take that good criteria and bring it to newer heights in this week.
Yeah, certainly. They'll have to bring themselves new heights if they do want to go ahead and pull through this match. Of course, these are all best of 1 series, so of course it could be a bit of a flip of the coin, but there's also a lot of tactics that they'll need to pull out. They're going to need to keep a level head throughout the entire thing. They can't get tilted during that first half. They need to come in that second half with a steady mind, even if it doesn't go their way. So, I mean, only time can tell what we're going to be able to see come out of them. We saw Major perform. We've seen Vikings perform. Let's see if they can pull out the performance we saw last week, or if they might decide to flounder just a little bit.
Definitely so. Obviously, we don't exactly have our veto just yet, but I assume that we will be able to actually get our fingertips on that relatively soon. Obviously, last week, it was the side of Vikings that did play their first best of 1 within the season itself on Mirage, and they put up, as I said, a really, really good performance, taking their opponents all the way to the very last round of regulation, but unfortunately not being able to clinch it out to make it to OT. And just because of the fact that Mirage is a very pug-style map, despite despite the fact that it has sort of underlying layers of brilliance and strategy that a good team can really exploit and take advantage of. I will be very interested to see exactly how they can translate the good parts of their Mirage play over towards the other maps within the pool itself. That's what I really want to see. I really want to see Viking Esports put up a really wide palette and perform the exact same way that they did last week.
Yeah, that's certainly true. And of course, this is going to be a bit of a different map than we did see last week because, of course, like you were saying, Mirage, very Pug style. But we're coming into a bit of more of a technical map when it does come to today's matches. And the first map of the day is going to be Overpass. So, of course, this one's a lot more technical of a map when you're looking at these two maps side by side. Mirage, very Pug style, and then Overpass, you need to have some tactics, and you have some things ready to go. If you have a hat trick or two that you can pull out as well, maybe there's a unique boost you can pull out. Maybe you're going to do the 5-man stack all the way up towards to try and get that early pick towards Heaven on B. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can pull out here. There's some counter boost, of course. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff we can be looking for to come out of both teams on the T side and on the CT side. So, of course, I'm looking forward to seeing how that does translate over, or if they're just going to play that puggy style that we did see in that previous match.
Honestly, it's all up in the air right now, and it's really tough to call exactly what style of Counter-Strike we're going to be seeing this evening, but I just know that we're going to be in store for a good matchup, and because of the fact that it is Overpass, as you said, we do get to sprinkle a little bit of variety into the Prime League over here and really just, give ourselves something really awesome to dig our teeth into. I am going to be obviously very interested to see exactly what Enza is going to be doing. Obviously, he is the main IGL on the side of Viking, and how he's going to be leading the squad over towards Overpass, and essentially just sort of being able to find out how he as I said, leads or finds a way to lead his team charging over towards the victory, but also then what kind of shots he's able to call in the sense of being able to adapt to what the opponents are showing. I do really think that one of the main people we're going to be looking out towards is going to be Enza on the side of Vikings. Naturally, we do not have an interview lined up for after these matches have concluded, but at the very least, just from what we eventually will see in the server, we can start to paint a much clearer picture as to how Vikings and their opponents are going to eventually start to sort of envelop themselves within Prime League.
Yeah, certainly. And one thing I will say is, of course, that will be our second match of the day, Vikings versus Wizards. But, of course, the first one is on Overpass, and that it will be Major versus MXD. I don't really have too much to say when it does come to MXD. I haven't really seen them play all too much, but we did see Major make an appearance in the previous week. So, of course, I am looking forward to seeing what they're going to be able to do for us. So, I mean, it's going to be rather interesting. Of course, there's no player I'm really going to be saying that they really need to look for, because I mean, we saw Mad Lad Pete show up with some stuff. We saw Supermon show up with some stuff as well. And I mean, if anything, those are two players to be looking for, because they were able to do quite a bit in the previous week. But I mean, only time can tell.
Yeah, only time can really tell. We are about to get confirmation as to whether or not we can actually head into the server, and it just seems as if the knife round has been finished and that we are getting the sides sorted, so I can only assume that we'll be back, and well, not the fact that we'll be back, but we'll be able to actually jump into game relatively shortly as well. It is going to be super exciting with Overpass being lined up first. And truth be told, I'm starting to run out of words, unfortunately enough. But yeah, as you said, I did have a little bit of a mishap. But unfortunately, the website did show mismatched times. We are going to be starting off with Midgard versus Ventum, which is going to be a really exciting matchup, as you said. Or has the website once again pulled an Omega Lol on me? I really can't tell. Things can get confusing.
I'm pretty sure it's Major versus MXD. But...
that is so bizarre. The website.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Never mind.
We are going into the pistol round already.
Hey,
Knife round is concluded. We've got Major on the CT side, MXD on the T. Now, it looks like those T's are going to barrel up Con and make their way towards A. As these players do look to start this clash over towards this A site. Mad Lad Peek going to start to peek out. Look for the first. Going to get a couple packs off. A little bit of damage. Currently, well, spreading around the corner to be able to find the first few, and shots do come on through, and right now it's been a wash. Huts now last man standing, stuck all alone in a 1 versus 4, is able to find one before he does go down, but MXD running through, having a time of their life, and absolutely shutting it down.
Indeed, they were able to get a control of that mid side of the map over towards the public bathrooms really sternly, and it's the only way that I can really sort of encapsulate exactly what happened is they just got overwhelmed very simple, very easily. They got overwhelmed and they couldn't really put up a fight whatsoever. And in this round number 2, MXD, slight change of heart. They're looking to take control of sewers, and on the side of Major, it does seem as if we have a little bit of a force going on, with Deagles being spread across the board in an MP9 to boot. Supermoen looking to maybe take a challenge, looking for an engagement, but none will be presented. Major already down on all 4 players, leaving once again Puts in the exact same scenarios he found himself in the last round.
Yeah, he is stuck on the site. Not much he's going to be able to do. That Molly punching him out of position, not able to really fall back. And, of course, MXD just running through them, having an easy time today. Of course, they did win that pistol, winning that second round for us. Not too unsurprising. And we should see Major buy up into the 4th. So I'm not expecting too much in this pistol round. This should really be just about it. Also, I do want to apologize. It does seem like we're having some technical issues today. So hopefully we'll be back under wraps without too much issue fairly quickly.
Hopefully so. These things can happen, but obviously we must press onwards and upwards the same way that Major are looking to in this particular round. Heavy stack over towards Bathroom will finally be read into, and Jupovic is the first to fall, but Mad Lad continues to linger, and a couple of T's have already taken control of the A-bomb site, but he may have the opportunity to pounce. If he takes control of that AK, then things could drastically change, but unfortunately enough, he actually will recover the AK, but as I said, unfortunately enough, the rest of his team has once again fallen. He can likely head for the hills and keep this AK intact, but you know for a fact that MXC are going to start hunting him down.
Yeah, Mad Lad being found out there, not too unsurprising as we do look at MXT to gain that 3-0 advantage. But of course, that might all change. Major now does have some rifles. They have the utility. They have the op in hand. That's on Mad Lad Pete. Now, time can only tell if we're going to be able to make this work. This is a rather important round for them to win. They absolutely do need to come out on top unless, this just might begin to snowball.
Definitely could, but the first buy round here, it could definitely change things quite drastically. Early peek over towards Park Ramp doesn't really avail to anything, as some counter utility was tossed out by Major to try to stave off MXD's advance. But control of short has been taken, and Putz, he's got a crossfire established with Supermoen that could prove to be very detrimental if MXD bite the bullet.
Yeah, problem is with that, he's going to get mollied off there, has to respond with the smoke, and that's going to be a bit of a cue to the side of MXD that someone is there, and they're going to start to spread out a little bit more before they do decide to take on this beast site. Something to note really quickly is X7's location. He is hiding behind bracket here and could possibly find one out. United gets tagged down extremely low, tagged down to 5, and then his team's going to go ahead and get smoked off there at construction, and there's not going to be too much movement. They might decide to go ahead and try and rotate towards A in this position, because it does look like the players are starting to head that way. In the bomb, it's kind of tempted, but it's not committed to the rotate just yet.
I think sooner rather than later, MXC are going to have to commit, but if they commit to this B bomb site execute, trust me, it is an impenetrable fortress with the amount of bodies that are physically on site. But United is able to make things work. He will be traded on off again, so no harm, no foul, and control already established. Tetrak already going super duper ham, leaving us in a 2v2 situation, and Jupovic found out by water won't stand a chance in hell. It's down to Mad Lad P to see if he can maybe stave off this bomb plant, but it won't happen. Clock now reset to 40 seconds, and the first pop shot misses. Tries to clean it up with the USB, but it's messy as all hell. He has to whip out the sniper again to try to make some magic happen, but it's a huge kerfuffle whichever way you slice it, and he will eventually bite the dust. Major stumble as they were on the way to victory right there.
Man, that right there. Well, I think that was 3 missed op shots and then a full mag from the USPS. He didn't even get the tag with the op. I think he thought he did, but he did not, and so he just wasn't able to find the shots. He was able to tap away the head to tag down some HP, but certainly wasn't able to find the frag. And just like that, they're stuck back down to Deagles. They do have a little bit to work with when it does come to util and armor, but it is very, very limited. It is. Right now, Major just not able to show up like they need to, and MXD just having a field day against
they
this,
really
CT
are.
side.
And to touch on what happened exactly in the last round, you did mention at a certain point that United, being on that entry fragger roll, he was left on about like 5 HP, and he somehow managed to find one of the players on the side of Major with their backs turned. Speaking of having your back turned, well, Goodbye, United. You've been capped, and that AK now falls into the hands of Putz, so there may be some kind of saving grace, but a lovely shot to deal with Mad Lad inside of Connector is going to now leave Major in a 2v4 scenario, as we also have to kiss goodbye to Super Moen, and this is starting to crumble rather quickly. It is to be expected. Botched Molly is completely fine. Just, forget, put that in the rearview mirror and just carry on with the round.
Yeah, just carry on. If you are the side of MXD, you're certainly not concerned just yet. Of course, Putz, he does have an AK to his name now, as well as 100 HP. Should be able to do a little bit of work here. Of course, just no head armor to work with. It's not really too much of a concern while you are facing off against these AKs. Smack 10, though, could be a bit of a problem, but it will prove not to be, as United does fall, bringing it down to a 2 versus 4, but no retake to be said just yet. They're just looking for exits. Putz still looking for one. Being baited a little bit, but nothing being found.
Not yet. It is paramount that Putz is able to keep this AK intact, and you can see they are ready for any kind of advancement that may be taken over towards Hell. For the time being, though, time continues to drain away. And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I know that the HUD may seem a little bit shocking, but we are getting it fixed in the background, so fret not. Putz will finally be taken out of commission, leaving Martinez all on his lonesome with the deagle to try to maybe tap on somebody's head, but yeah, MXD, they're not having it.
Yeah, certainly not having it. MXD just absolutely running all over the side of Major. And we will be looking to go ahead and get into this next round. Of course, the side of Major, they're going to have a bit of a buy round. Not exactly sure what they have. I know they have an AK at least.
Yeah.
But, man, just a field of issues today. Rather unfortunate.
I mean, we're basically casting CSGO hard mode, right? You've got no HUD. You've basically got little to nothing to work with except for the tags that are above the silhouettes. Somebody on the T side is taking control of short for the time being, and somebody will be taken out by, well, another guy. And another guy's definitely going to draw first blood quite easily.
Good shots to come on through. Of course, I'm not sure who just died or where they just died from, but it does look like the HUD is back, and X7 and Awa have bit
Praise
the
the
dust,
Lord.
apparently. And nicely done by the side of Major. They could start to get things underway.
We did see Martinez flirt with the idea of tossing a flashbang and maybe getting aggressive over towards United, but he already has crossfire set up, one of which will actually be dealt with. Nice surf mechanics. Look at him. He's a movement player. What a god. Goes in for the second. Oh, nice stuff coming out from United right there.
Good things coming on through as it is brought back 3-3 here. Or 3 versus 3, rather. Good tags all around. And one thing to note is United's health. He is tagged down extremely low at 13 HP. And so, I mean, a single shot will be able to do the trick. That being said, we will see the fall of another player there, bringing it down to a 2 versus 2. DJ going to be looking for one, but nothing going to connect there. Tries to turn for a flash, but nothing being found out of it. Just like that, Mad Lad Pete up in hand, going to try and find himself a little bit of redemption into the round. Of course, the missed floods from the previous... Ah, that's unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate. He was about just a couple pixels away from actually shooting out the plant as it was going down by default. If it was able to have actually gotten that, or maybe even spot out the player as they boosted themselves up to default, then you're back into a 1v1 scenario, and it suddenly becomes so much more realistic to finally get that first CT round on your side. But sadly, we're gonna have to wait just a little bit longer. There is one thing that I want to touch on, and I'm not really impressed by Majors' CT side thus far, and especially the way that they are holding down that B bomb site, because frankly, they have 3 players that are already on site. You got one guy who's over by the pillar inside a monster, you got one that's over by barrels, and one that is closer towards construction by the boost side. These are effectively 3 crossfires that you have set up, ensuring that you've got short covered off, you got the guy inside of barrels that can alleviate any pressure and tension that is coming over from that sewer side, but still, somehow, the side of MXD, they are always able to draw first blood over towards that B bomb site. There's just something that doesn't sit right with me on that Major side with that CT defense.
Yeah, certainly. It's been an interesting affair so far. Major just hasn't been able to really get their foot into the water just yet. It's just been just hit after hit coming out from MXD, not allowing them to get things going. And I mean, that's just the way it goes, unfortunately. But we should be back into the matchup fairly soon. We're just having a little bit of issue, and it does seem like we are back. I think kill feed's still a little broken, but that's the way it goes, unfortunately. And MXD currently 7-0, having a field day here on Overpass.
On the T side of all things as well. I mean, if they get themselves one more round, at least they have effectively won out the half. Anything after that is a surplus. Mad Lad Pete inches away from being able to find that entry. And we do have MXD already forcing themselves over towards this water side that's shared with Khan. Martinis opting to maybe go through the smoke, jumps for intel, spots out the head of, I think that was United, and cleaves him straight off his shoulders.
Yeah, nicely done by them, bringing it down to a 3 versus 4. But they need to keep that advantage, but it will be taken away post-haste. Martinez going to be found out there as it is brought down to that 3 versus 3. Super Mullen going to need to be the man with the plan to hold things down. And he certainly will be able to get the tags and a frag. Oof. That's one of the two, but not the second one. Bit unfortunate, as it is brought down into a 2 versus 2. This could be a retake scenario. Mad Lad Pete's back in this scenario where he is going to have to maybe clutch, and things so far working out a little bit better for him. We'll see him find one as it is brought down into a 2 versus 1. He's facing off against X7, and of course this could be where we see Major go ahead and start to claim their first round and maybe get a foothold into this matchup. But of course this shot from X7 being quick, but not quick enough to find the second one, as we do see DJ Upvick. I don't know.
Upvick.
Upvick?
I'm not exactly sure if it's supposed to be fully pronounced in a one word like Jupvik, or if it's just DJ Upvik. Either way, I like the ring to DJ. It's much more fluid. It rolls off the tongue easier.
Certainly. Of course, 1-7. Now Major finally collecting their first round.
I mean, should be, in theory, you just get yourself the next 7 rounds, play a flawless first half of CSGO from this moment onwards, and you still won the half. Sounds easy.
It does sound easy, but of course you're going to need to collect yourself at least 4 here if you want to be comfortable going into the onto your T side, and that's not even going to be a comfortable response. That's going to be a little bit comfortable. That's going to be iffy at best.
Yeah.
So I mean, coming into this and not having too much to work with is unfortunate to say the least.
Definitely can be. Martini's the next to fall over towards B, and I think MXD, they've made the call. It's go time, lads. Mango finds one, goes in for the second, but Putz shuts him down, trying to hold down the fort. Will be taken out of commission in response. And now Jupvik realizes that MXD completely forgot about the bomb, and he was willing to camp it, but Roak was already a step ahead of him, and that AK is just a sheer machine of death compared to the A1S. MXD, they were on the verge of seemingly losing that round, but they were able to strap themselves back in and get it done.
Oh, sorry, there was a low-flying jet going over my house, so I muted up for a quick second there. But we are back down to Deagles on the side of Major. I thought it was a tornado. I'll be completely honest. I was a little concerned for a minute there. It was stupidly loud. But, of course, 8-1, Major down in the dumps currently. They have the Deagles yet again, and they really need to make something happen with them. We need to see some magic, because certainly they haven't been able to do it on their own just yet. Maybe they'll be able to find something. First shots coming out. United tag down extremely low, but the damage is not dealt in order to get the frag there. So, I mean, hopefully we'll get a little bit more, but shots out the AK too concise, and Mad Lad Pete all alone yet again.
Darn. Double darn.
Huge darns, man.
Yeah, unfortunate. They were literally pixels away and damage away from actually being able to strip some AKs out of the hands of MXD United. He was about on 13 HP, a single Deeg shot away from death, and that really could have just changed the tempo a little bit for Major as well as for MXD, but unfortunately enough, yeah, Major, they're not catching a break whatsoever. MXD, they've already found out where it hurts, and they're going to continue to apply pressure for as long as they have breath in their lungs. There are still 5 rounds left to go in this opening half, and I fear that we might not see Major pick up more than this 1 round they have already received, but at the very least, I think I might have to eat my own words, as they have been able to get themselves 2 entries in this round. That Roak and Mango Papaya already down for the count, and Major are starting to seem as if they are finally hitting their stride.
Yeah, they should be able to get hit. They should be able to get things rolling into this one. Major certainly need it. They're up by 2 into this round now. They need to convert this one. If they don't, it's going to be a really sad day going 10-1. But it could be done here. We are down to 2 versus 5. Things looking a little bit better. X7 United, the last 2 men standing. Of course, United being one of the top frags in the server, still probably has a little bit to work with when it does come down to it. And Mad Lad Peak is going to be careful that it doesn't get peeked out too early.
Even for the top fragger within the server currently, this seems to be near impossible. X7 gets away with an entry over towards Monster United, joining in on the fun, but he will be found out in tandem with X7 down below over towards water, and that was a round that was very comfortably won on the side of Major. I want to say that not all hope is lost. If they continue to play in this exact same manner, then ending this first half with a 6-9 split, not the worst case scenario imaginable.
Yeah, this isn't the worst case scenario just yet, but it is down to a 9 versus 2. Major.
Oh no. Mad Lad. We have seen him countless times miss. Well, for players of this stature, they've unfortunately missed quite relatively easy shots, and it has been super duper costly for the side of Major thus far. It seems as if almost every bad stroke that came out of Mad Lad has been at an expense of the rest of the squad thus far. Martini's trying to hold down the fort, at least takes one to the grave alongside him, and that at the very least can bolster DJ's chance to clutch up big time. But United, well, look at this man. He doesn't have a care in the world. He will simply get right up in your face and pack you into the forever box. MXD, they hit double digits.
Yeah, just absolutely rolling all over everybody currently. Man, MXD. This is not the matchup we saw in the previous week on Mirage. And okay, X7. Yeah, I understand you're showing off at this point, but you don't gotta show off that much.
Does he get himself the entry? I don't think he spotted out the play over towards Barrels. It's Putz who is stuck, isolated on an island, and come on, X7! No way! Plays Mall Cop and is able to apprehend one person with the Zeus right there, and that is the B-bomb site completely compromised. This, at this certain point, MXD are just playing for style points. Let's be fair, and you know what? I give him a 10 out of 10 on that one.
That was mean. Like he did that. He did the run boost the entire way over there. Got over through Monster immediately. Got one, and then found a Zeus. What are you doing? This is just mean. Look at that.
That's just cyberbullying Major at this point.
This is cyberbullying. It shouldn't be allowed. This is a hate crime.
Oh, good lord. Yeah, at this certain stage, I don't even know what to say. I don't want Major to pack it up and throw in the towel, but it seems as they might need to. Oh my goodness.
God, they're so
Super
quick.
Moen thought he was ready for it, but United simply shoots him and doinks him straight into next Friday. This is illegal. I'm convinced.
Man. Anyway, shots do come back on through. Putt's gonna be able to find out one, picks himself up an AK, not gonna be able to find another one though. As United just runs through the smoke to find one. Doesn't get a second though. Tapping away. And it is brought down to a 2 versus 3. This has become doable for the Sun Major, but they certainly do need to show up. They can't let these 3 players get away with this at this point. But never mind.
No. Mango Papaya doing a little bit of platforming over towards Barrels will collect an easy 2-piece, as MXD have hit 12 rounds on the T side of Overpass. The potential for that 13th is very, very real, as Major have appointed DJ to the anointed utility player on the CT side, and we've got a P90 as well that is being holstered by Super Mo. And United and C gets flashed off that position. And this is a last-ditch attempt for Major to see if they can get themselves a 3rd round, but MXD ain't having it. Look at this. Mango Papaya charges on in, loses his life, and suddenly, well, Major, they have that man advantage on their side.
Yeah, they do have the man advantage. Now, let's see if they're going to be able to successfully use it. And so far, so good. The trope, the last man standing, needs to find himself this 1 versus 3 if he does want to deny a 3rd round to the side of MXD here in the last round of the half. But I think it's finally time for Major to collect the 3rd. He's going to secure the bomb. Needs to be careful. There might be players around him, but There were not. So
No.
going through connector here, he's got a little bit of room to work with. He's got the time as well.
And you can see that Major, they've already realized that they've got to stack up. They've got a buddy system going on with the sole exception of DJ being all on his lonesome maintaining overwatch of that B bomb site. So if Major lose out on that first player, they can immediately trade him off and ensure that the Troke doesn't reap the rewards of getting a round win over here. Sub 30 seconds left to go, and he is creeping his way through the stalls right here. And he's about to lock horns with Supermoen, who is tucked in deep over towards that A bomb site, finds the entry. And he's planting that bomb as well, resetting the clock, but I don't think he's checked over towards Bank just yet. He's actually moving towards it. Ring around the rosy as Supermoen now maintains control of that bomb, and Troke may have just spotted out some feetsies over towards stairs, but now he's certainly located the opper out. He's got two players directly within his LOS, and a smoke grenade will be dropped. Bomb tapped as well, and he will continue to fire away, but no, DJ takes about half HP's worth of damage and quick scopes him. And that confirms the round victory for Major right there. It got tense. It got very clumsy from both squads, but at the end of the day, Major, they get themselves that third round.
Yeah, honestly, that's finally collecting around for Major. They needed that third desperately. They have a little bit to work with now, but it is still extremely limited. It's 12-3. We do have MXD already going towards the end of this matchup. They're getting very, very close to... they're getting way too close for comfort, if you want to say it, a Major, to match point.
Yeah. I mean, it's if MXD walk away with this pistol round, then they have essentially set themselves up for success, and Major might not have a say in the match anymore.
Now, that being said, MXD already finding the first two. United and the Troke able to find one each. Brings it down to a 3 versus 5.
Still doable for Major.
Oh my god.
Maybe not so much. Awawa trying to get the refrag, but Major have already rendered this back down to a 2v2, and they're looking to try to retake that bomb site. Martini's tapping away, but the Glock, a pea shooter at times, not ideal for the situation. DJ running low on ammo right here. We'll have to head for the hills and stick the reload. The Troke is trying to do the exact same thing himself, but he will be disrespected upon, and DJ bags Major their first T round, so they might have a chance here if they can pull off the exact same level of success than MXD did in that first half.
Yeah, they certainly do need to be able to run on through this one. If you are the side of Major, you just weren't able to get things going on their CT side, but maybe now on their T side, they could get some win in their sails. It's been an absolutely rough first half, but they could start to get things going on their second. That's going to be extremely important. This needs to be a round win, though. If they lose this one, this matchup could be done and dusted before it does get too far. Of course, they are facing up against the Deagle combo with an MP9. These Deagles in the hands of each of these players from MXD, they've been explicitly damage dealing, and so far, it's working back into the direction of MXD. And oh dear God, it's already down to a 2 versus 4, and the AKs remain.
I'm sorry, but this is the eco of dreams right here for MXD. They've recovered 2 MAC-10s and an AK that were once held onto by Major, and they've simply just walked into the kill box multiple times thus far over towards mid, right into the trap that MXD laid out for them. But Supermoen still has a little bit of fight left in him, is able to bring this back down to a 1v2 scenario, and he's got plenty of time. Not exactly sure if he has control of the bomb, but it seems as if he actually might not, or actually no, he does, and he will be able to spot out one player over towards that long side, and now he is skirting his way over towards A. It doesn't seem as if Mango is close enough to respond just yet.
Yeah, of course. Mango tagged down as low as he is at 8 HP. Makes this a very winnable round. Of course, he is aware where this player is coming from, and oh dear God. That is not what you wanted to see out of Major. That is extremely unfortunate. That was a Deagle round, and that's allowing MXD to click that 13 and stop anything that Major had going for them.
100% right there. They got ecoed. That is the only way that I can describe that round, and I have to applaud Mango in that 1v1. As you can see right here, he had a sneaking suspicion that Supermoen may have started to dwindle down those the staircases. He had a moment to take a breather for himself, aim up his crosshairs, and then the moment he saw that melon walk right into his crosshairs, well, his suspicions were confirmed. A 13th round secured for MXD puts them 2 away from hitting match points and 3 away from getting some points on the leaderboard. Entry already traded off, so we're in a 4v4 scenario, but Wawa gets caught off guard as he is trying to go back into connector and reestablish some control. That's been stripped away from him.
Yeah, that has been stripped away from him as it is brought down to a 3 versus 4. The man advantage finally going the way of Major yet again. But we need to see them clear these angles, and especially they need to find the Troke in this situation. If they don't and they push towards A, it's going to be a bit of a folly. But it does look like things are starting to head towards B. One player to respond to it. He's over in Monster. That's going to be Mango. And they're not aware of his location, and he's going to start to make his way behind them.
So I don't even think that Major are aware of Mango at all whatsoever. You can see everybody was so confident that the bomb site was completely empty, but now the retake is starting off prematurely. A 3v3 scenario ensues as the bomb has gone down. Rifles plentiful on the side of MXD and kills as well. A 1v3 now for Puss to try to clutch up. A1 has recovered, but he can't make it work.
Oh,
no,
man.
I'm pretty sure that was the Troke who got the better of him, if not Mango Papaya. And that is MXD placing Major directly face first in the dirt. 14 rounds collected. 10 more than the side of Major. This match of Overpass could be rounded off very shortly.
It really could. Things could be shut down pretty quickly as it is 14-4 now. MXD 1 away from match points. They could finish it out. But of course, only time can tell, and Major can start to make a rebuttal because they have to make the rebuttal here and now. They have the AKs, they have the utility. Things could go their way. They have the pieces. They just need to connect them. And so far, so good. First shots come out in a while. Is eliminated. That comes out from DJ of Vic.
I imagine just, for example, you walk into a festival and you're about ready to party. You know, you've got your friends, you got yourself a beer or two, and then the announcer just presents DJ Upvik.
Yeah, no, right.
It would be so mind-boggling, to be fair.
Yeah,
I'm not saying choose a better name, but Upvik? That has to mean something in Norwegian. Obviously, it's got to mean something that we as casters just aren't privy to.
And so far, Major showing up and slowing them down, finally putting those kills on the board. Like I was saying, they had the pieces, they just need to put them together, and they're certainly doing so, as it is brought down into a 2 versus 4. This is Major's round to win, to put another one onto the board, finally put that 5th, but things are looking good. They find out one more, and just like that, the Troke's last man standing finds one, needs to find a second if he does want to retake into this one. But I think this is going to be all she wrote for the round, and we'll be finally looking at a 5th round from Major.
Definitely looks to be the case. The Troke doesn't exactly have the best amount of cash in his back pocket, so it may be wise for him to just head for the hills and try to save that gun. But guess what? Mad Lad was already 1 step ahead of him and ensures that MXD don't walk away from that round with anything whatsoever. So while it may not be the time for MXD to start going back to that drawing board, because they do have quite a lot of buffer room, 9 rounds to be exact, they can take their sweet time with closing off this matchup and kind of just lure Major into a false sense of security that they might actually be doing well right here. We'll see exactly how things continue to shape on up, but I like what MXD have thought of thus far. They have an XM inside of Khan, but they've lost out on that first engagement towards the boost spot. United the next to fall as well. Going to leave MXD in a 5v3 scenario. Not too good for the CTs.
Yeah, this is not looking great for MXD, as now Major seem to have turned it on, collecting frags like it's nothing, and now in a 5 versus 2, and all the players of Major at 100 HP. This is a very different team than what we were looking at in the previous rounds, and finally things going their way as they leave Mango all alone in the server.
Yowza. I don't know how he's going to dig himself out of this one. A flashbang comes on through, but He will not be affected by it whatsoever. He taps away and takes one to the grave alongside him, but that was very clean cut, to the point that it looks so clinical on the side of Major. They are really starting to hit their strides over here, but I really want to know exactly how much longer this whole charade can keep up. At the very least, they are going to relegate MXD to just a couple of USPs and 2 upgraded pistols, so we're bound to hit, or Major actually bound to hit their 7th round over here, unless MXD can pull a magical bunny out of their top hats. Look at this, 3 players creeping and crawling their way towards Park, and Mad Lad gets overwhelmed. The AK has been recovered, so suddenly it's not necessarily looking like a bite in the picnic all too much for Major.
No, it's not. Look at the Troke. His position has not been called out just yet. He's hiding behind Benz right now and could be able to find out one. He's certainly going to find the bomb planter at least, creeping and clawing his way up. Finds him after the plants, but doesn't collect too much more as Martinez does find him out. Of course, that is him tagged down to 8 HP. Just like that, this is a winnable round, especially with the AK in hand. United looking to do just that, but the shots aren't good. And putts to find him out and finish him off, and that will be a 7th round for Major, and this is all of a sudden winnable.
It is starting to look very winnable. I like the fact that MXD made the call to just throw caution to the wind and see what would happen if they completely rushed that Park side, and they were able to walk away with 1 AK that maybe could have been the silver bullet that led to victory, but unfortunately enough, it wasn't meant to be. MXD are going to have to wait for this potential round to see if they can finally hit that match point, or maybe a couple extra ones in the future. For now, though, a slightly more reserved approach on the side of Major, as MXD have set up some kind of stronghold inside of that connector side. Mango Papaya deep over towards Birthday will finally opt to get from his position, or so I thought. No, he continues to overstay his welcome and draws first blood onto Mad Lad.
Yeah, that is going to be rather interesting for the side of Major, as it is traded down 3-3. Or 2-3 now. Another player is found it out. Now, ooh, God, United.
That was a shot and a half.
So quick.
Yeah. He's already on 26 kills, and we've only seen 21 rounds of play. He is averaging more than 1 whole kill per round. Easily the highest, or the most highly impactful player that we have seen in the server this evening from these 2 squads. And now, this could be do or die for Major. They are starting to slowly but surely take control of this B-bomb site. And X7 maintains some level of overwatch from that construction side. First head pops, but it's not that of Major, no. No, it's that of MXD's, and this B-bomb site has been fully compromised. United is looking to deal a little bit of damage, but unfortunately enough, he will be forced off courtesy of that Molotov, and he will have to take a step back until it dissipates. Now, the flashbangs start to rain and pour on in. United, blind as a bat, looking for the gunfights, looking for the engagements, deals a little bit of chip damage, but can't find the lethality just yet, and time continues to dwindle away. He needs some kind of entry, but Major won't grant it to him, and that is an 8th round on the T side. They have narrowed the gap back down to 6 rounds. It's starting to get a little bit uncomfortable for MXD.
This is beginning to look a little bit more iffy. It was looking like their matchup, and this was looking to be the end a couple of rounds ago. But of course, Major making the comeback, showing up, saying hello. And now they've got to go up against the Deagles of MXD yet again. These Deagles have had a lot of lethality when it does come down to it. So, I mean, there is a chance for them to finish this off. But, ooh, putts. Dink down immediately by his team.
Yeah, not ideal. Not ideal, but at the very least they are up against Deagles, but we have seen MXD pull off the eco rounds to beat all eco rounds at the very start of this second half. If they're able to do it again, then Major are truly going to have their backs up against the wall, and that's not something that I really want to see. Major have finally started to get their engine running, and I want to see where they can take it.
Yeah, certainly. Shots going both ways. Putt stacked down even lower now. Tagged down to 10. So I don't know. It's Martinez looking for one more. Will be able to find it at the cost of his HP. And Awa going to be looking to eliminate him. Will be able to find it. Collects himself an AK, so to be careful of his DJ up above him. Should be able to eliminate him, and will do. As it is put down to the Troke and Mango, the last 2 men standing for the side of MXD. not much they're going to be able to do here as they are on this B side, and it does look like a rotate could be possible.
Starts to seem like it, but probably not. A little bit of damage exchanged, but at the end of the day, it's going to be Mango to fall. And now the Troke, well, he's going to have to somehow do it all by himself. I don't exactly see a gun. It is very possible that Major might have already tossed out the extra rifles overboard. Actually, no, the Troke has been able to recover one of those AKs, and he's soon to lock horns with Super Moen, but unfortunately enough, Super Moen just a little bit quicker on the draw, and that means that Major on the T side have gotten themselves an extra round, but MXD, they have a bolstered up economy, so they can once again reinvest into a full buy, sparing no funds whatsoever to see if they can finally put an end to this Major win streak.
Yeah, they really need to try and do so because, of course, there is the AWP and A1S's in hand now. If they lose this one, this matchup could really go the way of Major pretty quickly. But so far, so good for MXD as they use a cheeky little boost there to find one on out. And that's going to be Super Moen already biting the dust.
Yeah, very quick entry on the side of MXD. Doing their utmost best to actually catch Major off guard with their pants around their ankles, and it's exactly what you want to see from a squad like MXD that can really think on their feet. Even though it's something that is quite commonplace with an overpass, just using that tactic at the right time can really put those T's into their right place. For now, though, a 4v5 ensues, and we're about to move to sub 60 seconds right here. Major, they've since then reverted all of their attention towards that mid side of the map, to which there is no contestation, strangely enough. But MXD, I think they have another protocol states to prepare for the worst. As you can already see, they've started to hunker down on those anchor positions towards that A-bomb site. They are willing to keep Major out.
Certainly. It's been an interesting round, to say the least, for the side of MXD. They have taken the timer down ever so low, and the first shot starting to come out from the Troke. Gonna be able to find out one, gets the tag onto the other, and... oh, dear God.
Oh! Okay.
We good? We good. I think that was a
we
GeoTV error. I really hope it was, because they adjusted pretty quickly to it. Shots started to come on out. Of course, brought down to a 2 versus 3. They do have this A site nearly open. One towards Truck. Will be able to find him out, though. Just like that, the shots come through, and that will be the round going the way of MXD. Finally securing themselves match point.
Indeed. We have MXD finally being able to put an end to their bad spells as they have hit that glorious round number 15 right there. And they just need one more to ensure that they can bag themselves some points within the Prime League right over here. Full buys, a last stand on the side of Major to see if they can work their magic once more. United looking to get a little bit antsy over towards Short, and he gets the entry, and he will dip on back to Khan before Martinez even has a chance to respond. That smoke was so beautifully placed that Major had no way to counterbalance it. The Troke finds one of his own, as well as Jupvik is looking to retake that position from his fallen comrade, but he may be in for a rude awakening. 2 more squad members now looking to join in on the fun, but what work can be done when you're staring down the barrel of a 2-man disadvantage, and most importantly, that match point?
That right there is put down into a 3 versus 5. We're here on match point. United is saying hello and goodbye to some of these players from Major now. Looking for a little bit more, finds the second. Just like that, putts. Last man standing is the do or die between themselves, keeping on and looking for OT in this match, or this match coming to a quick conclusion. And the Troke says goodbye. That is 16-9. MXD come out with the win in a very, very dominant fashion. We saw a bit of resurgence there from United there at the end, but it wasn't enough. Anyways, that is all she wrote for that matchup.
That is all she wrote indeed. We did see Major get really uber close towards finally being able to hit double digits, but they needed just a little bit more. It was that first half that really left a sour taste in my mouth, with them being unable to actually get themselves any kind of CT rounds until round number 8. That is a very long time to go without any kind of success on your CT side. And it just, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but going that long without being able to see any kind of success on your CT side, which naturally is the way the meta is swinging when it comes to UCS, It feels wrong. It feels very out of place. And then naturally, when you're going up against a guy like United, who was kicking so much ass he forgot to take names, there's not much you can really do. Let's be fair.
Yeah, seriously. United was absolutely popping off in a major way, showing up and shutting them down. MXD just looking like a totally different team, looking like a different caliber there. But anyways, folks, that will be all she wrote for that first matchup. Of course, we do have the second one coming on up. I'm not exactly sure how long of a wait we do have between now and then, but there is a bit of a wait. But that will be between Vikings Esports and Wizards Esports, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys in a little while.
up with the thoughts in your mind. They're everywhere, and it's hard for me to bear. 'Cause I get so lost, feel just like a boomerang. 'Cause you change your plans every day, and you don't seem to care what I think or how it affects me. Since I laid my eyes on you, my baby, I just wanna make your dreams come true, my lady. If you're low, I'll lift you up. Just let me know when shit gets tough. Do you feel the way I do, my baby? Do you see me like I see you, my lady? I love you, but I don't need you. I only want true love, true love. My sentences when I don't know what I'm about to say, but that's what I like. We're just like yin and yang, but sometimes I wish you would hear me out and listen to what's on my mind. Yeah, yeah. Since I laid my eyes on you, my baby, I just wanna make your dreams come true, my lady. If you're low, I lift you up. Just let me know when shit gets tough. Do you feel the way I do, my baby? Do you see me like I see you, my lady? I love you, but I don't need you. I only want true love, true love. said that they don't got a future like that. It burns, so give him something worse to kill his head with. Make him forget somehow. Might be that another day she would have wished he stayed, but they're done. Sorry, this won't be enough this time. Yeah, he's calling all his friends to get some action and distract him right now. He's fine, got Lucy on the line, let's get this started. Where's the party tonight? I feel good, nothing weighs me down. I can't believe my luck right now. Red eyes while he said, don't you wanna have fun? Fool around with someone. Don't you wanna have fun? Never mind my dumb heart, it needs a little kickstart. 'Cause don't you wanna have fun? Don't you wanna have some fun? Don't you wanna have some fun? Ooh, who needs a job to pay the rent? He's busy. Gotta feel free sometimes, right? What doesn't make you will only make you stronger if you believe what they say. Might be that another day she would have wished he stayed, but they're done. Red eyes while he said, don't you wanna have fun? Fool around with someone. Don't you wanna have fun? Never mind my dumb heart, it needs a little kickstart. 'Cause don't you wanna have fun? Don't you wanna have some fun? Just make it go away. Can't take another day. Yeah, his baby said that they don't got a future like that. It hurts, so give it something worse to pass the time. Don't you wanna have fun? Fool around with someone. Don't you wanna have fun? Never mind my dumb heart, it needs a little kickstart. 'Cause don't you wanna have fun? Don't you wanna have some fun? Don't you wanna have some fun? Don't you wanna have some fun? You might be the one that truly get me, and I might be the one you really want, and I feel it too. But you don't know what I've been going through. This is when you tell me that you're different. This is when you try to make me fall. Convince me it's true, but you didn't even have to try. 'Cause you can start a fire without a spark. Show ya. Show me the call you when you turn me on. Cool way you tell me you want me down. Done it, I done this before you fall. I won't catch you, don't know I'm stalling. Cause you love to have them all crying. Calling me sweeter, telling me you need me. But I'm from a city that's high school. I give them this anymore, I go. Cause you a bad man, she don't love money. She break hearts real fast like gunman. Wanna swim down to the deep end. Wanna know all my secrets, honestly. Can you keep it real? Cause honestly, I can tell that you're real fond of me. Baby, don't be shy, I can see it in your eyes. I've been running around. Too bad, I've been sticking out your mind. I know you like it how I rock it from behind. I know you stand it how you taking all my time. Left, right, can you take it all night? Too bad, I've been sticking out your mind. I know you like it how I rock it from behind. I know you stand it how you taking all my time. Left, right, can you take it all night? Take it, baby, with me, I ain't scared to take it. Oh, and maybe when I take it, oh, I feel it coming down too strong. Cause I want ya, and it's hard to resist. Cause I need ya, and it's hard, baby, yeah, cause I believe ya. Hold me tight, holding on tonight. Oh, don't cover, no get to you clean and proper. Way I move, I know you can love her. You gon' have me on your mind forever, ever. Thanks, baby, turn it down like a sweet and ready. Go slow, keep it nice and steady. Know that you've been keeping patience. Too bad I've been sticking out your mind. I know you like it how I rock it from behind. I know you stand it how you taking all my time. Left, right, can you take it all night? Too bad I've been sticking out your mind. I know you like it how I rock it from behind. I know you stand it how
Appreciate your sound. 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 Appreciate your sound, need a renovation. Appreciate your sound, need a renovation. Chasing the thrills, I'm having fun. Nobody done it like me. Appreciate your sound. Appreciate your sound. Appreciate your sound. Appreciate your sound. Appreciate your sound, need a renovation.
There's no shortcut, no cheat code. All you got is you and the grind. And the whole army of randoms trying to stop you. Trying to be better than you. Trying to piss in your prize pool. And they can try all day, you go all night. Make every click count. Delete them all. Cause when you dedicate your life to this, it's more than winning. It's everything. Prime for glory.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back into Prime League. We've had a bit of a lengthy wait in between the matches now. That was about an hour break. So, of course, we'll be getting back into it rather shortly now. We've got another matchup coming up on through. That's going to be Wizards Esports versus Viking Esports. And it should be a rather nice one. Anyway, I am joined once again by Tudor.
Hey there. It is going to be a really, really great game that we have lined up. Obviously, this is going to be the first time that we will be able to see Wizard Esports physically over on stream as well. We have already gotten a taste of what Viking Esports are all about, what they offered on Mirage last week, despite not really being able to close out the dub. If I'm not mistaken, they actually lost out against Major 16-4 last week, but they came really, really close to being able to get themselves all those 3 points. So we know what they're all about, and now it's time to get to know Wizard, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned because, of course, we just did see Major have an absolute blowout of a match against MXD. Things did not go well there. That match went 16-9, and they were only able to pick up those 5 rounds on the second half. Like, the first half on CT, they only got 4. So, I mean, if we're looking at things coming up into the future, it's going to be... Gonna be interesting. I'm a little concerned that we might see another blowout, but of course that might not be the case. We might see Wizards and Co really put up a good fight here. But of course, only time can tell what Vikings are gonna be able to do against the Wizard. It's gonna be the Brawn versus the Magic. We'll see what they got though.
Indeed, and speaking about what they got, obviously, I did kind of mix up the teams at the very, very start of the broadcast, but now I can fortunately grab all of the points that I was talking about much earlier this evening and actually just sort of stuff them right into this short little segments, touching on, for example, players such as, Savvy and Temporary, as well as Enza, who is going to be the main IGL on the side of Vikings. They are going to sort of be able to really give us a good showing as to how they're going to be able to overcome their next challenge. And obviously, for those of you guys who are curious about which map we'll be heading off to, I'm going to go ahead and spoil that for you. We are going to be heading off to Inferno for this Best of 1 series. And obviously, for those who don't know what the win percentages are for Inferno right now, they are as even as they can be. 50-50 split between the CT and T sides. So it really doesn't matter at the end of the day which one of those two sides are going to be starting off, whether it be the offense or the defense. It is going to be heavily reliant upon how the IGL is going to be doing their thing within the server itself, how they're going to be adjusting their tactics on the fly, what sort of calls they're going to be making to sort of combat what the opposing side is doing specifically on that CT side, because of the fact that, you know, those two bomb sites, they are miles, worlds apart from each other. You have to be able to make the right call at just the right time to ensure that, well, you don't go down swinging.
Yeah, of course. That's going to be really what has to happen here. We're going to need to see what sort of stuff we can see out of Vikings, because, of course, they did lose their previous match that we did watch. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to be able to do against Wizards, because, I mean, if we're looking at the previous match in the day as a prelude to what we're seeing now, it could be a bit of a one-way stomp, but I'm really hoping it's going to be a decent match for us.
It surely must be. And obviously on the side of Wizard, we can go ahead and just quickly run down through the roster as well. Because of the fact that this is the first time that we'll be featuring them on the broadcast itself, it may as well be a good time for everybody to know exactly which player is playing which roles. I'm going to quickly run through all of that stuff. Naturally, at the very top, the one tip of the spear is going to be Zykes. He is the main IGL, hailing from Norway, as well as the rest of his comrades. We've got Envy, who is going to be the main operator. Chopper, we have got Shiro, main rifler, Kalsa as a support player, and then to close it off, we've got Hellberg, who is going to be quote-unquote lurking, and he might be able to pull off some very snazzy flanks here and there. And Inferno, it really is one of those maps that can really properly encapsulate a good lurk and a good flank, just because of the fact that, you know, once the T's have, for example, placed their eggs into one particular basket, it is very hard to dislodge yourself out of that position at times. And if, for example, you have, let's say, a CT that isn't retaking lost ground, then I guess you gotta stroke a good luck, and you can be able to regain a lot of lost territory. But it is going to be a very interesting potential dynamic that we will see between these two squads on Inferno.
Yeah, of course. Inferno, like you were saying, it is 50-50 split currently. And, of course, it is a bit more of a strategic map, but there is quite a bit of pugging that you can do on it. It's a very puggable map. You do see it. I mean, it's a staple when you are playing, like, Faces and other stuff. You do pug out that map quite a bit. So I fully expect to see some unique strategies that do come through, but I also expect to see a lot of puggy style of CS coming on through here on Inferno out of both these teams.
Yeah, as do I. And obviously, when we quickly touch on the eventual strategy that hopefully we'll be able to see lots of throughout this Best of One series, it really, in my opinion, it usually tends to play out as one of the most interesting but slowly paced tug of wars that you can actually see featured within Counter-Strike currently. Obviously, when you take a look at Banana, it is just one lane that both squads are going to be trading out utility left, right, and center until one of them eventually is forced out of, for example, sandbags or barrels or car, as some people would refer to, since the map was reworked many moons ago. It really just boils down to being able to, well, force your opponents out of those critical positions. If you're on the T side, you really want to make sure that those CTs are eventually hunkering down back into the bomb site so you can prep your flashes, prep your mollies as well towards Shadow and Quad and that kind of stuff. But on the opposing side, if you are able to force the T's off of that Banana side and, you know, force them to redirect all of their attention towards the A side, you may be able to set up a good trap. We don't know exactly who's going to be starting off on which side, but I figure that we'll be able to get that information at our fingertips very shortly.
Of course. It should be an interesting matchup, but I mean, it's been a bit of a slug of a day when it does come to the streaming and the matches.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing if we will get a proper slugging fest that does come out of both these teams, because of course the Wizards and Vikings, and I think those are two naturally opposing sides when it does come down to things. So I mean, it should be interesting. It should be interesting. But of course, anyway, if you have any thoughts on like what either of these teams can be showing up, if there's a player that you're really going to be looking forward on this side of Vikings, since you have seen them before, which player do you think might be coming out on top here?
I mean, I'm going to have to pull from last week's performance. It would definitely have to be Savvy. He is the mainstay rifler on the side of Vikings, and obviously he was one of the players that was just really racking up the numbers last week on Mirage. But it's not only just the fact that he was actually able to get multi-kills left, right, and center. He was also the kind of the player that would go for extraordinarily ballsy plays that you wouldn't see on a daily basis. I mean, hell, do you remember that CT rush we had into T ramp towards the second half the Vikings pulled off? Yeah, that was basically Savvy, who, it doesn't really matter if he made the call or not. What actually matters is the fact that he was the one that walked away unscathed from the vast majority of those engagements. He is the guy that can really make some magic happen. So Savvy, he's the guy that's got my money on the side of Vikings.
Yeah, certainly. It's going to be rather interesting, but it does seem like we're going to be getting into the pistol. We do have Wizards on the CT side and Viking on the T. Rather, I think that is flipped. I think Viking is on the T. That's my bad. But it should be interesting what sort of pistol round strategy we do have come on out. I think we're having some technical difficulties, unfortunately, so hopefully we'll be back into the server. It does seem like the observer is having one or two problems, but we'll be into the pistol round and maybe into the second round when we do see it. Anyway, Two Doors. We've talked a lot about CS now. I kind of don't got anything else to say. I don't think you got much else to say as far as the match goes. So what shows you been watching? What have you been up to?
What shows have I been watching? I've been meaning to get back to watching The Witcher. Before the Christmas break, I basically watched like the first half of the second season. I was about 4 episodes deep. Then I went off to the UAE for the holidays, and I just really didn't do any TV watching whatsoever. But the one thing that I have recently concluded was watching Waco. sort of a dramatized documentary series on the wake of Siege, for those of you guys that do not know. If you do really want to learn about law enforcement history within the United States, definitely recommend that one out. Can be very bingeable as well, I have to admit.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, just to let everybody know, we are having technical difficulties, so that is why we are stalling for time.
Stalling? No, we refer to it as waffling. That's what it is.
Waffling. Yeah, true.
I mean, you might not know this, but I personally own a waffle store. Obviously I am from the Netherlands, and waffle is one of our mainstay attractions, not delicacies, but it is super duper tasty. And from my experience as a waffle store owner, I've been able to weave that into my broadcasts relatively easily, and it's paid off. We are back in game with Vikings seemingly having been able to take that pistol round, so they have some FAMASs and MP9s available at hand, and Wizard Esports stuck with Deagles for the time being, but not stuck in the same place. Plenty of territory to be grabbed towards top mid.
Yeah, there's some early damage coming on out, of course. Gotta be careful and temporary. Been tagged down to 27 by these Deagles already. Ends up getting dinked on out. Will be eliminated there. Brings it down to that 4 versus 4. So it does trade to even. It's gonna be a bit of a back off when it does come to the side of the Vikings. They're gonna want to play a little bit farther back. But the shots coming on through, and so far fairly even. The bomb will be dropped, but picked back on up with FAMAS now in the hands of Envy. Gotta be careful because Zaitan holding this angle, but gonna be looking to do the damage with the MP9, get some pop shots off, tag him down to 30, as well as he does fall to him. Zaitan nicely done, collects the kill, and just like that, it's all down to Hellberg. Hellberg not in great position, gonna look for one, and doesn't find it, which is rather unfortunate. But that was the second round. The Vikings really showing up and saying, hello, we are not like the side of Major right now. We are certainly gonna show our way into this. And of course, we are going to be looking at Wizards to buy up here into the third. This is an extremely important round. This is a full force buy. They have the armor, but bare minimum utility to work with.
Yeah, 1 smoke and actually 2 smokes and 3 flashes. So you basically got everything that you need for a B bomb site execute. You could potentially make this work for the A side as well, but you'd have to commit one of those 2 smokes to either lane or long, so you can at the very least alleviate a little bit of that tension and not worry about either the likes of Temporary or Enzo, who's got one of those 2 sides on lock. Using it for this banana and B side execute, probably the way to go, but it seems as if my suspicions have already been confirmed. We have long smoked off. Molotov will block their advance through that short side. So Vikings, they've already gained themselves quite a bit of time, but they've already rotated Temporary off and effectively let 2 players to hold down the fortress. It's a bit of an odd call, and it might not pay off.
Yeah, I know this call's a little bit risky for them, especially with the shot starting to pop on through. We do have Enza falling prematurely there. It's going to be that FAMAS eliminate. Now Savvy, last man standing on the site, needs to deal the damage. But the shot's going to go towards Banana. Going to be able to find one that's Temporary, but that'll be a site collected. But Temporary has possession of the bomb. Will be able to find it. And just like that, will be maybe a first round for Wizards. Interesting little one-way to come on through here. I'm not sure how much utility this is going to be able to use here. Shots to pop on up, but through the smoke, shots are good. And Wizards to collect themselves a first round.
Yeah, that got a little bit dodgy. I mean, for starters, Vikings, they made the wrong call, whether they knew it or not. They probably thought that Wizard Esports changed their mind, trying to bait and switch them back over towards that B-bomb site. Simply didn't work out. Wizard Esports, they were very, very deep down that rabbit hole, and once they chose to actually rotate Temporary off, they left that A-bomb site really, really understaffed, and there was no way they could have known it until the eventual hit did come on, and trust me, it hit them very, very hard. But they almost stood a winning chance simply because of the fact that Wizard forgot bomb over towards T-ramp, and that was not ideal. You saw how quick Temporary was to react to that small little detail, and he almost was able to stave off the forces and win out a third round for Vikings. But at the very least, a breather right now for Vikings. They have been able to deal with Sido drawing first blood. And once again, we do see... Oh, that came so close to hitting. My oh my.
Very, very close, but it is brought down into a 4 versus 4. The shot's coming out even right now. Envy, I don't know if he's aware of the player with the A1S right below balcony there. He's going to have to be rather careful. Hellberg, careful of the player that could be popping on out. Will be able to tag down Enza. No frag collected. And oh, baby, what a shot there coming out through from Enza. Going to collect himself an up and most likely needs to rotate over towards B. Unfortunately, these players rotating off B. Bit unfortunate, but the Deagles responding back, saying hello and goodbye. Zyten going to be able to find one of his own. Brings it down to this 1 versus 2. And just like that, it's become risky. Now, Shero going to be looking to try make a bit of an advance, but he's got to be careful about how he does this. He does have bomb in hand. He's got an AK to work with, but these Deagles proving to be of the utmost lethality. I think he's aware of this player that's close. Won't be able to collect, and that right there could be the folly to allow the round to go the way of Wizards. Of Wizards. Now, Enza needs to find himself this 1 versus 1. Gets a little bit hasty there, and Shero does find him out. That will be a second round for the side of Wizards, bringing it 2-2 on the scoreline.
So we're all tied up in a blood-soaked bow, I should add as well. In that 2v2 scenario, like, the first criticism that I obviously had is, why on earth would you let Shiro have to plant the bomb while Envy was providing coverage? He was on minimal HP. A single shot from any weapon would have put him 6 feet under, and somehow he was able to keep his life intact until the bomb had gone down. And then you had Enza, who made the wrong decision at the wrong time to gain a little bit of extra territory to try to close that gap mid-air with his pants around his ankles while he was on 1 HP as well. Dastardly attempt, but it didn't pay off at the end of the day. A good flash, as you can see, the entire squadron of Vikings simply get mowed down. Into the meat grinder they go, courtesy of Envy, who is just padding his stats like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, let's just hope we'll be able to see a little bit more come on out. Of course, that was a USPS round, so the mow down to be expected here out of Wizards. That's going to allow them to go ahead and gain the lead into the matchup. But of course, Vikings, they have an answer back now. They've got the rifles to work with. Some good utility as well. It is of the utmost, but they certainly do have enough to do a lot of damage with. And a lot of damage they will do. Cheryl and Khalsa tagged down ever so low. 40 and 71 HP apiece. Now they got to be careful about how they play these angles.
Definitely so. I think all that utility was able to deal just under 100 damage in total, which equates to about 1 entire player. The lethality was almost there, but unfortunately enough, they've exhausted all of their lethal utility. All they really have are counter flashes and 1 smoke, which has been expended just now to stave them off of Banana. Zyden, meanwhile, I believe he was advancing through apps, or no, he actually got caught through the smoke over towards Banana. Not ideal, and Vikings will have to rotate an extra body over towards that B bomb site. Meanwhile, though, Wizard still a little bit indecisive as to where they want to exec, but they have to make that decision fast. We got 50 seconds to play with.
Oh, good shots coming on through. Cheryl and Envy tagged down ever so low. Cheryl trying to peek around, won't be able to find anything as Vikings clean up yet another round, making this a slugging match. Now at 3-3, going round for round. We will be seeing another bye round come out of Wizards. This one's going to be rather important for them to win.
Yeah, definitely so. It is, at the very least, given with how our previous matchup this evening actually went, I'm very happy to see that this one is just really competitive right from the get-go. These teams are basically neck and neck, but at a certain point, it's not going to last forever. I'm pretty sure that once the economy of either squad is broken, the other team will continue to just pull away and really string together a couple of rounds back to back. It's only a matter of time as to when exactly that might happen.
Yeah, that's very true. Of course, pop shots coming out both ways. There's plenty of AKs in the server right now, and just a little bit of tag damage to go around. 80 and 87 on 2 of the players. Just gotta be a little bit more careful. They're not too concerned just yet. But right now, they're just wanting to feel out the map. Wizards just looking around, trying to find themselves some information before they do assault a site. The current time does look like A might be the site of posturing. 3 players up there, 1 over there, and App's going to be looking to maybe find out 1 if possible. He's got to be careful about that situation.
Savvy, I'm not exactly sure if this is the right call. He was tucked in the case of an execution coming in, but look at this. He's been flashed directly in, but he won't choose to bite. No, instead Zyden does, and he'll pay for his transgressions. Temporary collapse back, though, in tandem. Wizard have just lost out on 3 players, and now Khalsa, already doing a little bit of recon work, will be able to smoke off CT, but there's a player lying in a wait through. That's Mako, who literally catches Khalsa with their pants around their ankles once more. more. It's all down to Shiro. 1v3 with 25 seconds left to go. The bomb plant can be baited out, and Mako falls for it. It's now a 1v2, and the last two players on the side of Vikings are worlds apart from each other. He can isolate two separate 1v1s, but unfortunately, he may no longer have that opportunity, or so I thought. He was ready for the peak, but Savvy had the HP to get it done.
Yeah, that right there was a rather close affair. That could have been won there by Shiro, but it just wasn't in the cards for him. He was able to find that first kill. But then after that, it kind of fell away. Looking for the second one, had the lineup, but was just a little bit off on his timing. That's going to allow the side of Vikings to regain the lead and put a fourth on the board.
Yeah, definitely so. And at the very least, they have been able to break Wizard Esports' economy right now. As you can see, they are relegated to simply using upgraded pistols this time. So this is the moment of truth for Vikings to finally break away and start running away, I should say, with this matchup on Inferno. As you can see, Enza getting super antsy, finds one frag over towards mid. Kalsa goes down, and look at Saido. Very, very tame. Well, actually, I should be saying he tamed that Deagle to perfection. 4v3 now.
Yeah, now, something to worry about right there is they did completely abandon B, but the side of Wizards not too quick to respond, allowing a player to get back in position. Will be able to find one, brings it down to a 2 versus 2. But something to note, look at where these players for the T side are. They're over here, split on up. And that's going to be a real problem, because now Hellberg all alone. He doesn't have bomb in possession. There's no chance for a plant here. Both angles are going to be watched, one watching towards Banana and the other one watching towards Mid. This should be the end of this one right here, and this should be a 5th round for the side of Vikings, unless Hellberg really pulls out a hat trick with his Glock.
The one thing that I will say is Wizard Esports have made the same mistake twice this far, forgetting the bomb over towards T-Ramp or somewhere in that region. In this round, I can say it's a little bit more forgivable because they were only using upgraded pistols, and statistically, they were about to face a loss. They have lost right now, as you can see confirmation on your screen, but it's best that they make the mistake of forgetting bomb in spawn very, very early on when it won't be that punishing. But hopefully they drop that, because it is a very bad habit, and if they continue to make that exact same mistake, it is going to become very costly very quickly.
Yeah, could really become a problem here. Of course, we do have the rifles here for the side of Wizards. A little bit of a peak coming out, but nothing being collected from it. But unfortunately, they were looking for a little bit of tag damage, maybe getting themselves a quick frag there towards mid, but nothing really coming on out. And just like that, it's brought down into a bit of a stalemate. They have some players pushing on through. One player up and apps, but he's going to be tagged down ever so low. He'll be found out after he finds himself one. No, he actually doesn't. He gets away. Going to be really nicely done for the time being. Zaiton.
Yeah.
Might be able to find one or two here if he plays the smoke correctly. And yeah, whoa, so close. 2 heavy tags, but no dice.
None whatsoever. It was actually Zaiton and Mako, if I'm not mistaken, that were hunkering down on that banana side, and you could see that, well, Zaiton, he was basically at the forefront over towards logs. What he was really wishing for was for Mako to have tossed out a flashbang so he could immediately entry on it and get himself a multi-kill, but Mako wasn't holding on to any kind of utility whatsoever. It was actually Zaiton who might have needed to flash Mako in instead, or flash himself in. Neither of those actually happened, and as such, turns out that they're going to be losing out on this round. I don't think Wizard Esports really feel the need to start hunting down this op. They might not even realize that Enza are actually holding down, but as you can see on the mini-map, Enza starting to run out of space to breathe. He lands. No, he doesn't land the first shot, and now he's really in a precarious situation. He will be collapsed upon. The sniper rifle won't be kept intact, and Vikings' economy is just about as broken as it could be.
Yeah, that right there was worst case scenario, losing that AWP. That could have been brought into this round right here in order for them to get a lot of advantage into it, but they'll have a couple A1Ss to work with. They're buying down to 100, it looks like, looking for the full force. Might be a bit of a miscommunication. It's a bit late on the buy. They're going to be late to get to sites, but that's not going to be too worrisome because Wizards not overly pushing it too hard. They're just liking to play a little bit more chilled out.
Dual stack over towards top apps might eventually work out as Hellberg is looking to dish out lethal damage. Doesn't happen though, can't collect any of the kills, instead he will be fragged out. And now Wizard Esports realize that apps might not be the best course of action. Retrieve that bomb and maybe try to force your way in towards Banana. They have to wait for that molly to dissipate as Saito is on the entry roll. Up, quick scope, no! My oh my, that D-Shock, courtesy of Zidane, is certainly enough to stave off Wizard Esports, at least for the time being.
Yeah, that's going to be enough to really get things going. They're going to toss that op over. Don't want to allow it to come into the next round. They're looking for a little bit more weaponry to work with. Of course, this for Wizards could be worst case scenario for them. This was a full buy round, of course. They had it op, they had the AKs, and now Envy stuck down on the Glock. Not much to work with. But the side of Vikings, they could be collecting a 6th here.
Certainly starting to look like it as well. They have recovered Hellberg's AK that was stuck inside of Apps. And unfortunately enough, they have actually left Envy without weapons, so they're gonna try to get that all back that they sent outside of the map, and they will do so successfully, actually. Envy now has something to work with. They are in full fighting form, but time is starting to drain out. Trade comes on out as well. 2v4 scenario. Zidane can't make the D work as Kalsa lines up his teammate before being punished himself. What a series of events leaves Wizard Esports once again at a loss as Vikings are starting to draw away 6-4.
Man, that right there is extremely unfortunate for Wizards. They really need to convert that round into their own. But now they're stuck back down on a 6-4 scoreline, but they got the rifles to work with, looking to play up through Banana pretty quickly. 2 flashes to assist. They're going to be looking to try and play with a lot of early aggression, trying to make their way up towards cards mollied off, so they need to passively wait through it. It does fade. Gotta be careful. 2 players to try and take this fight. 1 towards CT, 1 towards the site itself.
Uh-oh, and that's Mac over by CD taking a lot of damage, and that Molly is farming kills, softening them up for Zidane to collect. He goes in for more, but he gets shut down as well. Now it's go time for Wizard Esports. Shiro leading the charge, the tip of the spear, working his way in towards Church, as Temporary might be able to get the jump on them, but I think they may have caught his scent. The bomb does go down, and Temporary is waiting for a flash to come on in, but it won't happen just yet. Savvy trying to spray away as Temporary will finally fall. 2v4, and it's down on the wayside for Vikings. That doesn't happen either. Shiro won't let it. And Wizard Esports, they come back with so much fight left in them.
A lot of BM to come out right there. Just looking to pound it into him, saying, yeah, no, we're still here. We're not allowing you to have that round. And just like that, it's reset the economy of Vikings, and I think Wizard knows that.
Yeah. I mean, now it's basically the time for Wizard Esports to put the pedal to the metal really, really hard right now. Does seem as we have attack timeout being called, not exactly sure by whom. I would assume that it's Vikings that are taking a hot second to talk things out, as they have actually gone for the full expenditure on their side, not even saving a single cent whatsoever. As some people have already hit rock bottom, they're completely broke. Deagles and maximum utility being brought out. I'm really, really curious as to what the train of thought is with this decision right here.
This is going to be an interesting pull for the side Vikings. Of course, these Deagles have been proven to be lethal in their hands. We'll see if they can pull that out again. We've seen a conversion once. They can do it again. But they got to be careful with how they play this, because, of course, they're playing up against all AKs right now with full util to boot. And Envy already pushed up pretty heavily, looking and checking these corners. Bit of an interesting stack over there towards Apps. That could prove to be a interesting move, especially if Envy gets the jump on them. Oh.
I think Envy's caught out. Yeah, he's definitely caught out some pixels. I don't know exactly if he's realized how many players he just spotted out, though, because they're going to come down towards Boiler, and he might have just calmed with Wizard. There's only one guy that you have to worry about inside of Apps. Lo and behold, it's going to be 3. They effectively have an entire firing squad lined up, and Hellberg in for a rude awakening. Shiro to follow. Oh no, Envy falls as well. Viking Esports reaping the rewards of a gamble they shouldn't have been interested in, and Savvy goes in for more, left all down to Saito in a 1v3 bomb, very far out of reach with time, most certainly not on his side. It has gone against the fan for Wizard Esports this round.
Yeah, that is extremely unfortunate. This should have been a round for Wizards to win. They had the rifle advantage, they had the utility, and then all of a sudden these Deagles ringing through and doing absolute devastation. allowing them to go ahead and get the advantage back into their favor and picking up 2 AKs in the process. He's going to attempt to go ahead and get back towards this A site to get a plan at least. Gotta be careful though, players already on the approach to try and find them, and he will be nailed on the side of the head.
This is exactly the kind of stuff that I was alluding to at the very, very start of this pre-show before we actually hopped into the server, that it would be these decisions that are being taken within Inferno that can really sort of begin to describe the personality of a squad. And it is very, very apparent that it was Enza as the IGL who made that call. He took the time for a tactical timeout and said, boys, we're going to go ahead and just pull off the most rancid stuff you could ever come up with by taking a world tour of the apartments with 3 Deegs, and it paid off. This is the kind of stuff that can make or break a round, and in this case, Savvy, he made that round happen.
Yeah, certainly making the rounds get a little bit closer. Especially Wizard Esports now down by 2 yet again. They do have Deagles in their hands, and I'm not too hopeful on what they're going to be able to do with it here.
I mean, they would like to recreate that exact same magic that Vikings used to set them in their place, but you're on the T side. You're not going to be able to pull it off that easily. Let's be fair.
An early frag to come on through, of course. Saito already eliminated. Some early shots coming out here from Shero. He's not wanting to push too far. Doesn't get eliminated by it. Something to note, though, Inza tagged down extremely low. A Glock shot, a Deagle shot will do the damage.
Yup.
So playing more carefully with this MP9 is going to be of the utmost key. And, heavy tags.
Yeah, that was a shot and a half coming out of Hellberg. All he needed was a smidgen of a pixel to make it happen in temporary. He's no longer long for this world. That's safe to say. Sub 20 seconds, and this powder keg of a round is bound to explode as Zayden finds the first frag towards his B exec. He gets 2 more, looks for the last to claim the quadra kill. But Shiro's gonna deny it. Doesn't have time to stick the plant, or maybe he does, but he doesn't land the jump. At the very least, he can maybe try to walk away with the rifle, but that Deek's short capacity, or that magazine has ran out of capacity, and he was forced to stick the reload. Still, though, it is Vikings expanding the gap all the way up to 3 rounds thus far. They have hit 8. They've effectively won the half. But they can make so much more out of it right now.
Yeah, there could be a lot made out here. Of course, Wizards are down by a few rounds, but they certainly have the rifles now to work with. A little bit of early tag damage, not much to worry about just yet. Zayton playing up rather close here. Gonna have to be rather careful.
That was a frag grenade that was tossed on in, and the only person on the receiving end was Kalsa, who took about 6 points worth of damage. Not ideal, to say the very least. Zayden, I believe, was not just flashed on in, but he's going to continue to hold that position just in case if somebody wants to go and retrieve the bomb. Maybe? Question mark? Sprayed down over towards Long. That's temporary. He's now fallen. And you can see Zayden. I think he's preparing to strike sooner rather than later. But still, though, plenty of work is being done over towards this A bomb site. So Vikings, they're going to start feeling the heat rather shortly, as we're now left in a 3v3 scenario. Collapse is starting to come. But oh my lord, Savvy. 1 magazine is good enough for 2 kills, and Saito down in the dumps, all on his lonesome ass to make it happen, but the MP9 shuts him down in the blink of an eye, and Vikings, they're running away with it on the CT side.
Oh man, what an absolute devastation coming out from Vikings. That was a round that we needed to see Wizards pick on up. But right now, Vikings edging ever closer to a 10-5 half, especially with this bye round that's coming on through. We have got ourselves Mac 10s, Tech 9s, and Deagles to work with. Let's see what Wizards going to be able to pull out of the hat here. But right now, looking like not much. As shots from the up are looking concise. The A1S backing it up. And that will be the end of the half. 10-5, Vikings in the lead.
Doubling the score of Wizard Esports on the most balanced map that we have within the competitive pool. That is certainly something to write home about. Wizard Esports, I think it's fair to say that they had been surprised many a time by what exactly Vikings CT side had to offer throughout those entire 15 rounds. And now that the side swap has come on through, this starting pistol round is going to be more than paramount. Already a lot of early damage being dealt, but Wizard Esports are able to pull off just a little bit more. 2 players already in the bin, leaving us in a 3v4.
Certainly in the bin as Enza and Zaitin are the last 2 remaining for the side of Vikings. This one right here has been a shutdown by the side of Wizards, showing up on their CT side with a great force, putting a 6 on the board. The pistol round they definitely needed.
Definitely so, and now they can essentially force out every little bit of cash that they have. You can already see Hellberg and Saito had enough to farm out A1S's Envy as well, apparently, so that is about as stacked as the entirety of the lineup can get, and obviously you're not up against AK, so you want to be able to bring those helmets out because you don't know exactly what kind of upgraded pistols Vikings might be holding on to. Temporary, though, and Savvy are the first to fall. They, at the very least, will trade it out. Saito is the next to go and ends a triple fire for the memes. Won't work out. Zidane all on his lonesome once again with a P250. I don't think he'll be able to live up to the glory that Cadian once experienced, but it would be nice to see it happen.
Yeah, I severely doubt it. Of course, shots will start to come on out fairly quickly. Now Zaitin wanting to make a little bit of noise. Trying to find maybe 1 or 2 to bait into his crosshair. If anything, he's going to find a player that's behind him, but unfortunately for him, Hellberg takes him out. Shero quickly behind him could have been able to deal the damage as well. And that will be about it there of 7th round for the side of Wizards as they start to tie things a little bit closer. But Vikings, now with rifles in tow, this is where things can really get going.
This is where Vikings can really get the opportunity to ramp things up. We know exactly what they're capable of. We have seen their T-side on Mirage work to some great lengths as well. And at the very least, they're able to punish Saito for his raw, unbridled aggression. I would say a bit of a miscalculation on his side, but at the very least, they will be able to recover one of those rifles. But still, though, so much damage being done, to the point that Hellberg is forced to retreat and maybe give up Banana for free. He instead goes for the repeak and is greeted by the grace of 2 T's staring right into his retinas.
Yeah, certainly. We do have Wizards on a bit of a downward stroke into this matchup, into this round, rather. As we did look at Shero and Kalsa's last 2 men standing. They're watching their backs, making sure no one comes for the quick backstab. And that could work out for them, but unfortunately for them, the back turned at the wrong time. There'll be a trade. And just like that, it's down to a 4 versus 1, and Kalsa, last man standing, needs to find 4 in order to bring it back.
The lineup was so good, but unfortunately enough, the A1S can't really compete in some of those instances. He will bite the dust right over there, and that is Vikings at the very least, putting an end to Wizard Esports' very short-lived win streak of 2 rounds. So they've expanded the gap back down to 4 rounds, have a little bit of a buffer to work with on this T side, and we know very well just how punishing the Inferno T side can be. So now they once again have the opportunity to likely get themselves a 12th, maybe even a 13th round, and that's going to be the point when Wizard Esports will really start to sweat. Big nade damage onto Mako. And I have an extra one to clean him up, though. If they had an extra nade, that would have been a free, literally a free kill that you don't even have to expose yourself for.
It's all down to these Deagles for the side of Wizards, of course. We have seen a lot of lethality out of Deagles into this matchup. That's mostly been coming out of Vikings. Let's see if Wizard has that same golden touch to work with here. As soon as they get some information, they could act upon it. Right now, Saito is trying to make his way around, peeking ever so gingerly. Sees 1, backs on off, not tagged down in the process.
It's good. Max HP is better than no HP. Does he choose to barge in through the smoke with his back turned? Yes, he does. Here's Mako actually walking in on through, but he's been found out, and the same thing goes for Shiro as well. 2 players now down for the count as the plant will be confirmed. 5v3, 3 Deagles to try to make some magic happen, but I don't suspect it's going to be happening anytime soon. This looks like a 12th round for Vikings, but it's not going to really demotivate Kalsa from giving it his best effort, though.
Lots of shots towards Kalsa, nothing connecting so far as he has tagged down to 22. The shots from Savvy will close it out, 12-7. Vikings showing up, showing off now that they got rifles in their hand. Kalsa will do a little bit of work.
Just a little bit. And unfortunately, things won't get competitive once again because Wizard Esports, they've actually opted for the double save. Some of the players, actually 4 out of 5 members, don't even have $3,000 to spare. So they'll once again have to whip out the Deagles in this particular round and hopefully come back in fighting form next time around.
Coming through now as Deagles are the only response that Wizards have.
At this certain stage, you have to force a retake with the Deagles. I mean, it's only $700. You're not going to be crying about wasting $700 on one particular round. It would be very estranged for them to... I don't even... By the looks of how slowly they're progressing throughout Inferno, I don't see them mounting a retake. If anything, they might just camp for exit frags, but you can very much tell that Vikings, they already know what's going on. The entire shebang is privy to them. They're not going to walk into the LOS of Wizard Esports for fear of losing out on their AKs. And it's something that you can rebuy into, obviously. You just don't want to give off any kind of weapons to a very crippled CT economy.
The economy not looking the greatest right now. They will have rifles to go with into this round. This is where Wizards needs to turn it around. If they don't, things are going to fall apart even further. They got themselves go ahead.
We do see the op actually being flashed by Sido, the first one, I believe, of this entire second half, and it's going to need to do some work. More than a leg shot, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, leg shot is a good start, though. Temporary tag down ever so low. Gonna have to be a little bit more careful while he plays around the system. Just gonna have to make sure he doesn't take these bad fights on too quickly. Right now, Hellberg and Co. just wanting to play a little bit farther back. They don't want to aggress too far towards Banana. I don't blame them on that. Every time they have, it hasn't really worked into their favor. Wanting to play it slowly is best case scenario.
Yeah, indeed. Try to isolate as many individual gunfights as possible. Force Wizard Esports on the CT side into a mistake. Or at the very least start baiting out utility as much as possible. I mean, look at the util that is on the side of Wizard. And obviously on the side of Vikings as well. We basically exhausted about 1 whole minute and both squads' utility is completely barren. We have yet to see any real gunfights take place until right now. Shero finds the quote-unquote opener on towards Savvy as well, so that puts the CTs in a very advantageous position.
Yeah, that's a good spot to be in. Especially with the tag already on the temporary, that's going to allow them to find an extra one fairly quickly if they play their cards right. Shots coming on through, ends up connecting a little bit, jumps around the corner, nicely done, baits the shots initially, and then finishes them off. Puts it down into a 4 versus 4. Of course, Kalsa holding a cheeky little angle, finds one of himself. Nicely done. The low temporary is eliminated. And now Enza able to find one as well. Brings it down to a 3 versus 3. The retake looking to come out here from Wizards. Starting to make their way around. Hellberg playing quick. Not going to be able to find one, though, as Mako does eliminate him. And just like that, Envy peeking around as well. Not able to do anything. Mako too clean, too precise, eliminating them all. Just like that, Sido all alone in the server, backing off, looking to save as we edge ever closer to match points, now at 14-7.
One more round to that glorious 15 and 2 more rounds to hit 16 and take those juicy points within Prime League all to themselves. Vikings, they're making a statement right here. I think with this particular matchup compared to the one that they had last week, they are really starting to show exactly where their skill ceiling lies.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be proving so. And look at that. That from Enza was rather pretty. The bait and then the jump in to finish him off. Just, nicely done. Of course, Sido brings over the AWP, so they're going to be supporting that with Deagles. They don't have the best economy, but the AWP is certainly a weapon to behold. We'll see if that big green gun can do the work that it needs to do. Speaking of which, Temporary looking to do the same over towards Banana. Of course, no one there to take the fight with them.
Not yet, not for the time being. They will preemptively molly that off so Wizard Esports can't get a little bit too aggressive, but when you've got Deegs, I don't think getting aggressive is really the right course of action. One flashbang already tossed on out, possibility to re-smoke, not yet nabbed upon. And now Vikings, they realize that going for this B bomb site execution might not be the right course of action, so they've redirected their attention over towards Split. They've narrowly pounced upon Kalsa. Stuck inside the smoke, and look at that, Shiro finds an opener, goes for a second as well, but can't tap quickly enough. Back to a 3v3, and we really need Saito to make a little bit of impact here. Envy is the next to fall as well. Oh, wait, he didn't pull the trigger. That's a missed opportunity from Saito right there, as the bomb plan will be confirmed. He is smoked off and can't contest from inside a library, but guess what? The ace up the sleeve. Hellberg with the AK finds one, goes for a second, but Mako was a little bit quicker to react, and Enza shuts down Saito, so that AWP is impactless. That's Vikings hitting match point.
Yeah, that's extremely unfortunate for Wizards. They do have the money to buy back into this round, and...
Wait, what?
Okay. I think
surely they're throwing in the towel at this point.
They have to be. What? Alright.
I mean, yeah, alright.
Interesting strat. We'll see if it pans out for them. If they win this round, I'm going to, yeah. I'm going to lose it.
If they win this round, I will put on my banana costume and personally make a tweet with me wearing it.
This is, a really interesting, interesting strategy. You don't see this come out all too often, obviously.
I would have rather they actually gone for the autos. They had the money to do it as well. But I guess...
they wanted armor. No, they didn't. Two of them are glass.
Yeah, it's true.
Of course, Sheriff's starting it off, though, with the off, bringing on out. Let's see if there's another ring. There will be. Hellberg able to find one. Brings it down to a 3 versus 4. And the shots from Temporary there. Of course, that A1S to back up the B site doing the work. Now Temporary, last man standing, 1v3 retake. All ops in hand for Wizard. Gets the plant down. Let's go one play back of sight here. Gotta be careful for open sight lines, though. I don't know if he knows that they all have ops.
I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows. He is in for a rude awakening as every single CT is slowly converging on their position. Spots a shoulder, and he will be domed by Shiro right there. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to go back on my word. The banana costume is coming on tonight.
That is a bit ridiculous, Wizards. That is a round that I did not expect them to win whatsoever. Quad ops, who would have thought?
I wouldn't have thought. Twitch chat, would you have thought that? Production, would you guys have thought about that? No. No. No one in their right mind would have gone for that, first of all, and then banked on it working out. Wizard Esports, they keep the dream alive for at the very least another round. Jump boost over towards mid, and it works out! Temporary's been binned!
Well, that right there is the start you need if you are Wizards to try and get this to OT. Pulling out a hat trick like this at the last minute, quad off, everybody's an upper, no riflers on this squad. Just gonna absolutely dominate on that previous round. But now Savvy, having a word, has the AK, finds one. Brings it down to the 4 versus 4, traded down to even.
Nade damage doesn't quite line up, as Viking Esports are getting ready for an exec through apartments. Plenty of players already stacked up as the smoke is going to block their advance, but that's exactly what they're hoping for. They want to go towards the hay bale, but Shiro reads into it. He finds one. No scope doesn't land. Oh my god, Enza! He still falls, and Kalsa is going to join him in the grave. Savvy, now the last player alive, will have to secure the bomb plant as he's stuck in a 2v1 scenario. And he wants to redirect his attention towards the library, but he's been spotted out by Hellberg. They have live intel on where he is, but now he's gone into the cubby. They've lost him. Savvy has the element of surprise on him, but no! Shiro, or excuse me, Envy, had a sneaking suspicion there was a rat about in these places, and he will shut him down. Wizard Esports, one round away from hitting double digits now.
Man, Wizards bringing it back from the brink of destruction with a bit of a hat trick, of course, in that previous round, but now coming into this one, able to double down with the triple off and do the work that they need to do. Of course, they did have the A1Ss to back it up, and we're back to a standard double op setup. We're seeing something a little bit more, cultured. I don't know what to call this. A little bit more standard when it does come down to it. They do have double ops. Something to note really quickly. Vikings, of course, looking to try and end it now. They don't in particularly want to let this go too far because their econ looking towards broke.
It is on the verge of breaking, as you said. Another round loss for Vikings means that they could force out 1 or 2 AKs, maybe a few Galils, but they want to avoid that at all costs. Sido, watching Boiler like an eagle will dome Enza. They draw first blood on the CT side, and they're not stopping right here either.
Oh, man. Now down to this 4 versus 5. Some early shots to come on out. Of course, Wizards. They're looking to have the advantage into the round. They need to keep this going.
They really do. They are prepped for an A exec. They have plenty of bodies on this bomb site to stave off Vikings. Util being committed over towards Pit, but has been clear for about 30 solid seconds. Sido misses the first pop shot. Hellberg, though, will be able to provide coverage, and Sido lines up 3, the first of which was a collateral, ladies and gents. My, oh my, he is farming frags. He is tied with Envy for top fragger right here.
Oh, man. This has come back in a massive way for the side of Wizards. And they're back on their triple op stuff. Early shots to start things off, but of course the Tech 9, throw it up, throw it off. Finds one, a second one does come through. That one's coming out from Savvy. Picks himself up that A1S and gets ready to get the plant down. Bringing it to this 3 versus 3 retake. This is an interesting position to be in. The AK from Zeitzen gonna be dismissed as Shero does find him through the smoke. Now the A1S and Mac 10 remain for the side of Vikings. Of course, we're gonna be looking at one going towards Banana. That's going to be Enza picking himself up and off. Gonna be looking to hold this down. This is doable here for Vikings, and they certainly need to do it. Shots start to come on through. Nothing connecting just yet. And there's the first and the second. Savvy and Enza to clean it up. 16-10. Vikings do win it. Wizards do make a resurgence right there at the end. But that will be all she wrote for the matchup. And we have a Banana Man in the studio.
I'm not joking when I said that if Wizard were going to pull that round off with quadruple ops that I would put on as a banana suit, they delivered, and so have I. That was easily one of the most rancid matches we have casted thus far. And it was well worth it. Let's be fair. It was great.
Yeah, of course. Apparently I'm timed to light now, which is rather interesting. But that is the end of our broadcast for the day. I hope you guys did enjoy. It's been absolutely interesting, to say the least. But technical issues all throughout. Our initial producer had his internet completely cut out on us. So it's nothing on these guys. There was just a lot of issues throughout the entire day. And it was rather unfortunate. But hopefully things will be more smoothed out by week 3. Anyways, folks, I have been Degade. Not time to light, as it does say down here. Over here to my left, of course, is Two Doors, the Banana Man himself. And that will be all we have for you guys tonight. If you guys enjoyed, please be sure to leave a follow on the channel. You can subscribe as well. And if you want to hear more of us, you can follow us on Twitter. His tag is down below him. Mine is Degade. I'm not Time to Light, but you can check us out. And you can check out Time to Light too. Anyway, that'll be it. Hope you guys have a good one.
dreams.